Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever. This week we return to another reflection on Pope Leo's first encyclical, Magnificat Humanitas, Noble Humanity. As I said last week, one cannot really summarize a document of 40,000 words. I underestimated the word count last week by 2,000 words. There's no doubt that the Pope warns of the possibilities of many dangers with AI, and it's certainly the duty of the Church to speak out against anything that endangers the human person. The first point for this week's meditation is the use of the word vigilance in the encyclical. Pope Leo says that artificial intelligence in all its forms needs vigilance. This is part of the teaching office of the Church, and in particular the successor of St. Peter. When we examine the word, we understand better what the Pope means. To be vigilant means to be wakeful and watchful, the very reason we keep vigil, for example. Its etymology includes the idea of guarding against danger. The Church is ever vigilant in guarding the humanity created in the image and likeness of God and redeemed by Jesus Christ. Much of the encyclical deals with why that vigilance is needed when it comes to AI. In particular, Pope Leo tells us that society has the duty to remain profoundly human. He says quite clearly that AI cannot be considered morally neutral. This means it is more than just a tool, as some say. We think, and he refers to, systems of social control already being perfected by the communist regime in China with its so-called social credit system, where, with not only facial recognition, but the Pope says access to credit, employment, or essential services can be controlled or denied. The horrifying thing is that this is already happening, and not just in China. Think, for example, of those debanked for their political opinions. Ever greater vigilance is called for. Even without going too far, it's possible to see the dystopian possibilities of the machine, as Tolkien called it, and why this encyclical is so necessary. It is in fact part of the prophetic office of the Church to speak the mind of God, and yes, to warn. The beauty and positive image of this teaching document is to remind the believer and to the world, in fact to evangelize the world, of the dignity of the human being, redeemed by Christ, the splendor of whom Leo XIV says, no machine can ever replace. Where the secular world and developments in AI might seek some melding of the man and the machine, a transhumanism which is in fact not only a utopian but truly dystopian dream, Christianity instead offers something much greater and much higher, the elevation of man by the redemption to something higher than the angels, sharing both divine adoption and what the Orthodox call theosis, sharing in the very being of God. 47 years ago, the first encyclical of Pope John Paul II, now Saint John Paul, Redemptor Hominis, was released. The saint, in the very first sentence of that encyclical, wrote these words: "The Redeemer of man, Jesus Christ, is the center of the universe and of history." Magnificat Humanitas of Pope Leo XIV ends with these words: "At the heart of everything is the mystery of the Incarnation." Vigilance, watchfulness, and wakefulness, guarding against anything that negates, damages, or destroys the creation and redemption of man, is a service to all humanity. Brethren, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, like a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.